Tell the story, Mother.
A little over 11 years ago now. Wow, 11 years. My parents knew Greg, and they said they had someone they wanted me to meet. And I was like, yeah, right. If you want me to meet someone, I'm wearing some baggy sweats, a holy shirt. Like, I'm just going to look crazy so that he won't even talk to me. But I forgot what day they were going to introduce me to him. And so I showed up for church. It was actually a choir rehearsal night.
Yeah.
I showed up for rehearsal, and my dad was like, hey, come here. I got somebody I want you to meet. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I forgot.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
I had Deja on my hip, diaper bag, all that. And
Get out of a big buff Suburban.
I got out of a Suburban because I drove a blue one at the time.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, hi, my name is Greg. I was like, hi.
So just cold, shoulderish, just horrid. Like, this chick had the weight of the world, like, sitting on her face, not her shoulder, her face.
And then I just walked away. He thought I was mean.
Very, very nice looking, but, you know, like, I wasn't, at the time, honestly, when I first met her, I wasn't even trying to get any type of play or try to talk to her or anything of that nature. I'm just, hey, what's up, how you doing? I was actually there playing, in this instance, for a conference. Her mother had asked me to play the organ for a conference that they were having at her church. I wasn't even a member of the church, but her mom, who met me months before, asked me to come through and said, Greg, I want you to play, and, you know, all that stuff, gonna give me an honorary and whoop, whoop, paid me real nice. And it was real cool, but I wasn't there for her. But that's our first, it was June 2007, matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
We first met, I was on my way to work. I was actually pulling into the park. I worked at JCPenney, and I was parking to get ready to go to work. And him and his friend were driving by and then circled around. So that's how we first met. And my first impression was like, actually, I was like, oh, I was like, he's a little older because he has on linen pants. I was like, he has on linen pants and sandals. It was hot, though, but I was just like, you know, people my age weren't wearing linen pants and sandals back then. But he looked good, but that was my first thought because I told my best friend, I was like, I like this dude. I was like, he's kind of cute. I was like, but he had on linen pants and sandals. So, but it was cool.
Saw her pulled up. And she smiled, and I was like, wow. And then she got ready to get out the car and then stopped herself. So my first impression was her smile. I was like, dang, that's a radiant and awesome smile. And then she got ready to get out, and her skirt was like, you know, so she had that Miss Trinidad thigh right there. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, she got nice legs, too, a pretty smile and nice legs. So I was like, yeah. Talk to her.
So literally, as soon as he met me, he wanted to marry me.
Whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep well at night, we'll go with that.
But honestly, I didn't know for sure until like
it was some
March
time
of the next year.
She had a wall. You know, divorce is a serious situation.
I had bricks, I had cement, I had luggage.
Brick and mortar.
I had like all that stuff because I didn't want anything to do with marriage at all.
Yeah, I get it. I got it. So I gave her a space. And when I needed to back up, I backed up respectfully. I didn't overcrowd her. And then when the door came open, or when I saw a little crack in the door where I could put my foot in there, I took advantage of the opportunity to, you know, be a presence and not take advantage in a negative way of the opportunity of potential of what now is.
When I was like 17, I knew I wanted my wife to be my best friend. And so after meeting Darylyn and us hanging out as much as we did early, like I was like, she really cool. Like she's younger than me, but it's like she was mature. You know what I mean? I felt like she was on my level at the same time. She was young, but you know, she was on another level. So I was like, okay. So, but then we went through that whole time where she was going to school and we were doing other things separately. And then after we came back to, you know, kind of reconnected, just still on a friendship tip. We were just hanging out. We would go to the movies, eat, that type of thing or whatever. And I just started paying attention. I knew I was getting to a point in my life to where it was time where I was going to go to another level. And I just started paying attention. And honestly, I tried my hardest not to feel a certain way about her, but I knew I just started feeling about her, and it was things that I knew I wanted in a wife, and in a mother for my kids, and to move forward. That she had those. I just started seeing things about her that kind of was being checked off the list, pretty much. Not intentionally. It wasn't anything that I looked for. Where like, okay, she has to have this, or she needs to do this, or she needs to be a certain way. It was as if, whatever I noticed, whatever it was like, okay, that checks. Okay, that checks. That checks. And then the love for her really changed from, oh, that's my friend, we solid, I love her, to like, I'm in love with her.
Did you guys have sex before marriage?
Did we have sex before marriage, girlfriend? Did we have sex before marriage?
He wanted to get my goodies, but, I wasn't about the goodies.
You sure?
No.
Okay.
You sure?
I'm just asking, make sure.
You know which question that is, Kat.
Oh!
I want to let her answer it because she was the one that was giving the politician answer.
Well,
and
I'm asking you.
You ain't got to ask me now. She asking us. And I'm sitting there like waiting for you to say.
Well, that's the only question that we've held on forever.
Go ahead and answer.
Well, she has to ask us again.
Yes, let Kat ask us again.
Did you guys have sex before marriage?
We did.
Yeah, we did. Listen, you keep playing with fire, eventually you're gonna fall and burn up. And I did play with the fire, and yeah, so that did happen.
When he asked me to marry him, we did. There was some intimacy when we were, going through like that little dating stage. But once he asked me to marry him, then it was a done deal. It stopped, and then we ended up getting an apartment together, and still nothing until we got married.
How we managed to get back into a place where there's a lot of sanity and there's spark. I'm a spontaneous type guy in the first place. She's not as spontaneous as I. She's the big dreamer, big thinker. I'm working my way to even being bigger. But we remain transparent all the time. Certain things I do, her love language, if I can say that, is acts of service, for example. And so when there's things she don't even have to say and things are getting done, or even she said, and my response via text message or phone conversation or face-to-face is already taken care of.
I'm like, yes.
She's like, yes, those things keep the legs open. Those things, it allows further communication to be on a strong level, real talk. Those things makes it possible. So when I am proactive or when I'm even showing effort, even if I feel like I'm inferior, I could feel like that. That's a struggle I could have.
I don't make them feel like that.
She doesn't do that at all. But she makes more money than I do. But even in that, we both realize that it's all going in the same pot. So I think what really helps to keep the spark is the transparency, me just doing my part, and to help make sure she feels secure. And when I'm not, we have clear, straight up conversation about that.
We have nice check-ins. Exactly where we are.
Yeah, man.
And then especially if things are like super duper busy with church and work, or if I've been teaching at night a lot, we do the check-in just to see exactly where we are, to make sure we still are devoting some time just to each other, not just to us and the kids, but making sure that we're still together.
Spontaneous with just
everything.
Yeah, just like I could be at work and he'll send a message and be like, happy hour tonight or something, or let's do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So he's real spontaneous with it. And we will still go out on dates with the family, like with the boys, and then with ourselves, all the time. Like all the time. Drives, and then we just
gotta be intentional.
Yeah, and then I really, some people can't say that, but I really like my husband. Like outside of, like, you could love someone, but I really like this guy. So it's cool. Like, we really like each other, and we have fun. He's funny. I'm funny. I'm hilarious. So I think that's what it is. And we make sure, like, to just go out, like we were just talking about amusement parks right now. And so
it's always a thought of, in fact, to answer that same question, it's like a thought, okay, we are intentional about, let's make sure we keep it, because that's a part of a conversation from time to time. Okay, how can we stay fresh? What can we do to keep it going? Like, we have those conversations, and I think it's important. I mean, it seems or sounds so cliche when you talk about, okay, you say, well, what's important in marriage? You go, communication now. It sounds cliche and it's the easy answer, but literally, to me, that's the biggest thing you can have, and to communicate on purpose and intentional, not just when something happens or if there's an issue. Like, we'll almost create an opportunity or a reason to have a conversation about something, so that, and then a lot of times down the line, okay, we've talked about that, and then, okay, now 3 weeks later, here it is, we face with that situation. But because we've had communication about it, we kind of have a head start on either how to deal with it if it's a problem, or get in with the flow if it's something good.
Thank you, McNairs.
Thank you.
That was fun.
That's all. It's a wrap.